Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl News. My name is Brian, and this Vietnam veteran, after the attempt on Donald Trump's life at the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, decides to give Donald Trump one of the greatest gifts from his own arsenal. This is an absolutely touching moment. Let's dive in.
Mr. President, we actually have someone that, and before we ask his question, I wanted to read this to the crowd. He had actually written a letter to you after you'd been shot in Pennsylvania. Dear President Trump, watching you during the Butler rally and you getting back up, both my wife and I gave a sigh of relief as well as a few tears. I would be honored if you would accept this small token that I received as a young Marine in Vietnam. My wife and I both thought it appropriate. God bless you, your family, and the United States of America. Sincerely, Dwight. Dwight, where are you at?
Thank you. Whoa. Looks like a check. It's a check. It's cash.
For those of you who may not know, Dwight had given President Trump his Purple Heart.
That's right. That's right.
I couldn't think anybody more deserving
Thank you.
of a Purple Heart.
Thank you very much.
You took it, you laid down there, you got back up, and the first words out of your mouth was fight, fight, fight. You didn't even have anything to shoot back at it. You got guts.
Yeah, hold that up right there. He doesn't do this, but he's better than anybody as far as I'm.
No, I'm hardly better than you on this thing. You're great at this. And I wanted to thank you. I know that most of you all watched the president on that day and were very fearful that something terrible happened when he went down on the ground. But it was such a relief. Our hearts were so filled with joy because we saw what happened. And it was a minor wound, but it was close to being a terrible.
You know, I said, how does it, why was there so much blood to the doctor? There's bleeding like crazy. This is a little fact. Some of you might have heard this, but you get hit in the ear, and it bleeds more than any other part of the body. So I didn't mind being hit that way. I don't want to be hit that way. This way. This way. If I didn't make the turn, I would have been hit the other way. That's no good. That would not have been too good. But it is true, and I got very lucky, and maybe it wasn't so much luck. Maybe there's something else, right? Maybe there's something else up there, but that's great. Thank you.
You also took the time out to write me a beautiful letter and gave me a challenge coin. I never expected that from the President of the United States.
Well,
thank you very much.
This was a great honor, and I remember it very well when you gave it.
Yes, I will.
Really nice. Thank you.
I served as a Marine in Vietnam, proudly served as a Marine in Vietnam. And thank you very much. There were quite a few that did. And when I came back from the service and stuff like that, we didn't get quite the greatest greeting, but
no, you didn't.
A lot of the veterans nowadays are homeless. There's 7% were homeless before Biden and Harris took over. Now there's 14%. I would like to know what you're going to do to prevent this from getting any larger, and also kicking these illegal aliens out of the freaking hotels and providing them with money before we do it to our homeless vets.
So interesting. So one of the things that most angers me about this is the 21 million people plus. You know, they say it's 10, it's 12, whether it is or not, it's much more than that. It's 21 million, and it's probably with the gotaways and everything a lot more than that. But one of the things that most angers me is that you have veterans on the streets in front of a hotel, and you have illegal immigrants. Some of them are serious killers and drug dealers and all the people that we talked about before, and terrorists. And those people being walked into a hotel, and they're staying in a hotel, and they walk by veterans who are sleeping on the street. And it could be cold, it could be hot, and it bothers me if we close our walls, we're going to be able to handle it. They are spending so much money on taking care of the illegal migrants, now we call them. We used to call them illegal aliens. I call them whatever the hell I want to call them. So do you. But they're not supposed to be here. And we're going to close the wall. First day, we're going to do a couple of things. First day, we're going to drill, baby, drill, and we're going to close the wall. We're going to close it up. And we're going to have to take people out. We cannot have killers. Do we agree? Does anybody want to leave the murderers, the drug dealers in our country? Do you know one of the little facts that's very sad but makes sense, that all these things I predicted 3-4 years ago, I was saying this is going to happen. Now it's happening. The migrant crime, it's a massive crime. But all of this that's happened, everybody, it's common sense that it was going to happen. And we're going to have to get them out because we have no choice. It's not sustainable by any country. We have done things that are so stupid. Like, as an example, I consider it to be less important, but it's very important still because it's a way of life. Men playing in women's sports, okay? Who wants that? And who wants open borders? Because open borders is so, you say, how does a thing like that happen? All of these policies we're going to be changing. And we have now somebody running as a radical left person. You know, more left by far than Pocahontas. More, you know who that is? More left by far than crazy Bernie Sanders. She's more left, and we can't have it. So we're going to take care of your people and your friends. You got a lot of friends out there that don't have a place. And we're going to do it, and we're going to do it fast, and we're going to put money to it. First of all, we're standing on the greatest power. It's called liquid gold. We have more than any other country. We don't use it. We get oil and gas now from Venezuela. Do you believe it? We're going to take our own, and we're going to make a lot of money. So we're going to make a lot of money. We're going to take care of our veterans properly. We're not going to have that happen anymore, okay?
Thank you, Dwight.
Man, you gotta just appreciate the way Trump handles these sort of situations, because typically there's more gravitas and much more thank yous, but Trump has his own spin on things that really just says, I'm authentic and I am actually trying to give you the kind of respect that I think you deserve. That is something that you can't really put a price tag on. That authenticity. And furthermore, what he's talking about, because this isn't some meandering speech here, this is a major problem. Now, I never served in the military. I've got a great amount of respect for the military. I'll have even more from it once we get Lloyd Austin out of there and get someone like, someone like Pete Hegseth in there to actually reform the military and make it a whole lot stronger, because we were stronger under Trump and it got really weaker under Biden. And that just sort of seems to happen in the differences between Republican presidents and Democrat presidents. There's sort of a trend here. And furthermore, after the attempt on his life at Butler, Pennsylvania, something has changed in Trump. It's subtle, but he has gone from someone who says 2 Corinthians instead of 2 Corinthians to, maybe this whole Christianity religion thing, maybe there's something to it. Because I think Trump has realized ever since that fateful day that there is some fate, some guiding hand going through history and protecting him. Because remember, he randomly turned his head right before the bullet came by. And thank God for that, because it would have been very difficult to run a campaign after a borderline theme out of the Manchurian Candidate. If you've seen either of those movies, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because right there at the end of the movie, the initial plot was someone was supposed to assassinate the front runner for the campaign, and then the vice president was supposed to give this amazing speech and make his way into the White House, and that's how the communists were going to take over. Well, the communists still are out there. And ironically enough, the man who gave Donald Trump one of his own Purple Hearts fought communists himself. And this man, this veteran, this Marine, because once a Marine, always a Marine, this man gave one of his prized possessions, because you earned those Purple Hearts. You are given a Purple Heart if you are wounded in the line of battle, if you are wounded on duty. And this man talks about his experience, but more importantly, he then quickly pivots from saying that he got a Purple Heart to we've got a problem with how we treat our veterans. And that is a massive issue still today. And for instance, I didn't know this until this gentleman spoke it, Dwight, I believe his name was, but the military homeless problem went from 7% to 14 in just 4 years under the Biden-Harris administration. That's despicable. Absolutely despicable. You can measure a country by how well they treat their veterans. And I used to deliver medical supplies, and I would occasionally deliver to the veterans, the VA hospital. And it was one of the less well-run hospitals in the area. It was more dilapidated than the rest of them. Nothing was state-of-the-art. It was pretty much, okay, well, we have to treat you somehow. Here's the hospital, and good luck, buddy. Take 2 aspirin, call me in the morning. It's not a great place to be. And that's how we treat our veterans. And then we have Democrat policies, and not just at the presidential level, but at the local level, where for some insipid reason, we are housing illegal migrants who have managed to sneak their way past the border, and we're housing them on the taxpayer dollar, and we're not doing this for our homeless veterans? Are you kidding me? No wonder Donald Trump won in a near landslide. Because as these atrocities, or just lack of a better word, continue to pile up and pile up, we're starting to notice a trend here. People are fed up with Democrat-run policies. Pretty much the only ones that aren't are the crazies out on the left coast. Because the reason Donald Trump won so many swing states, particularly what used to be called the Blue Wall, those Midwestern states, the reason Trump is winning those Midwestern states is because they've had Democrat control. They have seen how crazy things get, and they kind of look left, they look right, and went, we ain't dealing with this anymore. And so they have been changing their votes slowly but surely in those areas because they've seen how bad these policies are. And people across the country are noticing these issues. There was a huge movement back in the summer of 2023, 2024. Everything's been a blur since 2020, let's be honest here. But there was a wave of people noticing in the cities that, hey, there are resources going to non-American citizens. Why do we keep voting for this? And that's the reality. That's the reason Trump won this election. People are fed up with how they have been treated by their state government, by their local government, and by the federal government. And this veteran here is shining a light on a major issue that we don't like to talk about. And that's going to get better under this new administration. And I can't wait to see what happens next. This is a great moment of Trump being Trump, but of someone who earnestly believes in the reforms that Trump keeps talking about. This is a veteran who gave Donald Trump his own Purple Heart medal that he earned in Vietnam. That's probably the most heartfelt gift a veteran could possibly give to anyone. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment here on Politibrawl News. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.